Welcome to Angel Water's 2024 Best Water Softeners. You are here because you're like, how do I buy a water softener? And I'm here to help you navigate this crazy world. We have hundreds of water softeners at Angel Water. We're very blessed to be a very large dealer in the Chicagoland area and Southeast Florida. So my job today is to help explain the industry in a nutshell so that you can understand it and help you and your family choose the right water softener. So we're going to actually move to our offices so we can actually go through the systems a little bit more clearly. We're also going to talk about water conditioners today. So come on, join me right now. Okay, we're in our offices now, and if you like this video, do me a huge favor, press like and share this with your friends and family because literally almost everyone in the United States has hard water. So if almost everyone has hard water, they can find the same benefits as I'm going to explain to you today. So the top benefits that having a water softener are going to do for you is it's going to save you money and make your family more healthy. Okay, two big things. So saving your family and making your family more healthy. Now, how can that be, right? How can that possibly be? Well, we're going to get into that today. And remember, what we're trying to do is water softeners are designed to take the rock out of the water. That's a water softener. And so today we're going to explain the difference between a water softener and a water conditioner, which keeps the rock attached to the water droplet. Now, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to serve you. We are a licensed plumbing company, so we do know what we're doing in regards to installing these and installing them and programming them for your home. The license doesn't really help us with the programming, but it does help us in regards to the fact that we know how to mechanically install it into your home. Because anyone touching a plumbing pipe in your home should be a licensed plumber. Technically, that's the law in almost every state. Some states there's some leeway, but in general terms, you want to make sure that the person touching your water actually knows what they're doing because guess what? They got bacteria on their hands and they touch the plumbing of your water softener, touch the inside where the water goes. Guess what? You could get sick. Also, all water softeners, water softeners, not conditioners, they actually run a line to the drain, and if they cross-connect that into the sewage line, which we've seen a lot here in Chicagoland, by guys like Chuck in the Truck or whoever, they're actually breaking the law, and you can get sick. A company in Colorado was about $5 million in sales, and they cross-contaminated. That means that where the water goes in and out, that's the potable water, but where the drain line goes, that's where it drains from. It's got to clean itself every few nights. They tied it directly into a sewer line. Now what happened is the coliform bacteria, the sewage bacteria, crawled back through that drain line and into the water softener and made a home inside the water softener and got so many people sick. Now, they got Crohn's disease. Yes, once you get Crohn's disease, you can't really get rid of Crohn's disease. So this is why using a licensed plumber or a very well-known professional makes a lot of sense to me, and I think it might make sense to you. Almost everyone I talk to says it makes sense to them, so you have to make sure that you're not hiring Chuck in the Truck out of his garage and that you are hiring someone who understands that mindset. So that said, we're going to talk about how important it is to actually use professional people during this video, and we're going to talk about NSF or National Sanitation Foundation certification, because again, I want to be able to share with you my experience, right? I mean, our company's 50 years old. I've been doing this 26 years myself. So in this journey of mine, I've learned a lot of things. You know, one of my journey to begin with is I was competitive. Like I was worried I want to have the best price because I felt best price served my client. Guess what? It didn't, and I'm going to explain to you today during this video why that didn't. Now, I'll give you a good example. In fact, when we were price competing with everyone, we were buying like big box products that are $700 or $800, and guess what? It was a low price, customers happy, but guess what happened? They started calling, and yeah, we answer the phone every time. So we're like, yeah, what can we do? Next thing we know is it's like 2 years old, and it stopped working. And it was the filter material inside the unit. It's either the unit was too small. I mean, take a look at this here. This is a big box. It's made by Water Boss. We're a service center for them. There's a GE water softener back there, big box unit, and you can see that they're small. So we had this experience where the stuff didn't work very well. So that journey of ours has given us unique ability to really understand what the pros and cons are, and you have to weigh that out. Someone who might be living in a home that's going to be, an apartment, and they're a single person, and their water's not that hard to begin with, it may work very well. Now, let's get into the differences between water softeners and water conditioners before we get started, because I want to make sure if you're buying a water conditioner, that means that it's keeping the rock attached to the water droplet. It's not a softener. What that means is that there's this belief that this will travel through the plumbing, and when it comes out the other side, that the water's decent. And it keeps it attached as it hits your skin or your clothing, or it hits the shower stall, the glass wall. Maybe it's going to hit your dishes, your dishwasher. Well, guess what? It doesn't. When it hits air, the rock precipitates out, and it binds to your hair follicle, causing it to be dry, itchy, causing your hair to be dry and itchy or dry and brittle. It could clog the pores of your skin. That means you get dry, itchy skin. And if you have eczema, that's what people complain about, right? And you can see back here, we have a ton of different products from Aquasana. Yes, we have installed these, but most of the time we have to take them out. And the reason why we have to take them out is, look, there is no control valve on it, and this is the size. By the way, when you go online with some of these online companies, it's like you look at the picture, you're like, what difference is that compared to maybe one of the other ones? Well, I wanted you to physically see the difference, right? Here's an Aquasana baby. Look at that guy, a little baby thing, or this big bad boy back here. It all depends on you, what you're looking for. Now, that claims to handle like 200,000 gallons of water, and it will filter it. Well, what happens is that's in perfect conditions, right? That's if everything is within their realm. And by the way, again, what a conditioner means is it keeps the water droplet attached to it. So what happens is the unit allows the water to go up, then down through carbon where we take out the chlorine, and then through this filter material called Next Media, and it was designed or invented in Germany, and then it comes back out and goes off to the house. Now again, it's great because, well, guess what? In the plumbing, yes, it doesn't clog the plumbing. So that's wonderful, right? In fact, A.O. Smith did some studies. Well, by the way, they own this company now. But in their studies, take it for what it is, their studies, they say that their water heaters last a little bit longer based on that, just a little bit. Not as much as a water softener. A water softener, conversely, it actually takes the rock out of the water. So as this water with the rock is attached to it, guess what happens? That rock pops off through what's called ion exchange. It means it pops it off and it puts a sodium ion or potassium chloride ion onto this water droplet. Then this water droplet goes up to the distributor and out to the house. Sounds like a pretty good deal, right? Now that water droplet is rock-free. Rock-free. So we want to talk today about water softeners, because we're going to assume that you have figured out that you want a softener. You want the rock out. Not through some magic wand which only protects the inside of the plumbing of the home. If you are looking for protection of the inside of the plumbing of the home, then this is a very good opportunity. Or maybe you just want the chlorine out of your house and a little bit of that benefit of keeping the plumbing clean. Well, this could be a very good job because it takes out the chlorine as well. So do your homework, make sure you understand that, but this video is specifically going to talk about water softeners. Now, I created this nice little sheet here for us to evaluate. What is a water softener going to do? Like, why would I want that, right? Well, here we go. What are the effects of hard water on your home? It ruins your sinks and your tubs. It spots on your dishes. It clogs the plumbing and dry, brittle, or strained hair. So this is a very good opportunity for me to tell you a story. So we have a client a husband and wife who had me out at their house, Greg and Yeva Berkowitz. Wonderful family. So they just had a baby, and so they were looking to get a drinking water system so that they could make formula or do other things for their child. They wanted to have healthy water, and they didn't want to buy bottled water anymore, right? So as I did a demo for them, I explained that also there's these whole home water softeners, and they lived in Chicago. And they were like, Greg was a little like, I don't know, and I explained some of these benefits, like the hair. Well, guess what happened? they decided to go forward and buy the system, and about a month later, Yeva Berkowitz calls me. Now, she's Eastern European. Now, she calls me, and she's like, Andrew? And I'm like, yes. Hi, Yeva. She's like, I'm at the hair salon today. And I'm like, oh, my God, what's wrong? Is there something wrong? She's like, no, but I sat down in the in the chair, and you know what my hairstylist did? I said, no. She goes, get up, get out. I'm like, I don't really understand. She's like, get up, get out. I don't need to trim your hair. I don't need to do a deep conditioning to your hair this month. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's a great thing. And she's like, yes, it's a really very good thing. And I told her I just got this water softener, and that must be the reason why my hair is so soft and why the ends are not brittle and need to be trimmed. And I was like, oh my God, that's great news. She's like, and I go, oh, hold on one second, my phone's ringing. She's like, that's her. Take the call me back and let me know what happens. And it literally, I pick up the other line, and it is her hairstylist who's absolutely excited about getting the same thing as Yeva had. Now, what that means is, and what happens with us, is when we deal with high-end hotels or hair salons, they want a water softener to remove the rock out of the hair, so when someone leaves the home or leaves their business or leaves their place of business, like a hotel, they feel great. And guess what? If you're in a very fine hotel, they all have water softeners. A very good hair salon has water softeners. And what happens is they can use less conditioners for your hair. Now, what's great about this story is that Yeva's telling me, she's like, I spend $120 every month to go see this woman. So now I can go every other month. So now think about that. That one story has now been, or that one single case within that family is saving them almost $700 a year in hair care costs. We're not even talking about conditioners. Like, why do we need hair conditioner? Because look, when the rock touches the hair, it binds to the hair follicle. You need something to condition that hair. Without that, guess what? You have less need for hair conditioners. And how much does that cost the family? You use less soap. Just so you all know, let's be clear about one thing. In the world of water softeners, the biggest competitor, the largest corporation in the world is Procter & Gamble. Yes, Procter & Gamble is the largest water softener company in the world. But what you don't know is they're using chemicals to treat the water. Now, you have to ask yourself, do you really want to treat chemicals and use chemicals when treating? And that's why, right, we're talking about spots on dishes, and we talk about washing machines, we extend the life of water heaters, coffee machines, humidifiers, and the plumbing system. Those are some of the benefits you get. But I got to explain to you that when we're talking about a wash machine, you're going to use 1 tablespoon, not the full cup of Tide. You're going to use a tablespoon of soap. By the way, think about this for a second. Tide is called laundry detergent. Why is it called laundry detergent and not laundry soap? It's called laundry detergent because it uses chemicals to soften the water. So the majority of that product is actually having liquid softening agents inside a Tide. By the way, New York and Europe outlawed Tide and other products that have these nasty chemicals in it because it's bad for the environment. Now, if it's bad for the environment, what do you think it is? Think it's good for you? If I was washing my clothes today and there was a lot of laundry, I use a lot of detergent, and it's sitting on these clothes and I start sweating, what do you think is going to happen? Your organ, the skin, is the largest organ of your body. It's absorbing what is in contact. Now, those chemicals were never approved by the FDA, the EPA. They don't look at those. You get to decide. That's why this video is designed to educate you just a little bit so you can become a well-educated consumer and decide what do you want to do. You can chemically treat the water with Tide or Cascade and all those nasty chemicals. And by the way, what do you think Downy's for? Downy's to soften the water and soften the clothes. Why? Because guess what? Rock was left behind on the clothes. And did you ever look at the ingredients in Downy? Ew, who wants to be wearing that? It's like a chemical suit that you're wearing all day. Really? Is that what you want? So you get to make that decision. There's actually, if you think about it, 3 different types of water treatment systems for rock in the water. There's Procter & Gamble and all those nasty chemicals. There's then the water conditioners, like you can find an Aquasana. We sell them. Everyone sells them today. Or you use a water softener. So again, a water softener is designed to actually attract the rock out of the water. Now, that said, we now know that I'm assuming that if you haven't turned off the video yet, you are now saying, okay, Andrew, I want a water softener. So let's get into it. Water softeners, I want to be able to make sure that you understand. I'm going to rate them or explain them to you so that you understand the quality with it. And so while you're watching this video, I want you to think about, are you going to live in this home a long time? Or are you going to live in the home a short time? Because that will help dictate which kind you want, right? And we're going to break that down into basically 3 categories. We're going to explain to you that there's going to be big box, there's going to be sticker companies, and then lastly, there's professional grade. So again, big box, sticker companies, and professional grade. Now, in these, we want to make sure that you understand, we're also going to understand whether or not they're made in China or in America. Now, that's very important because there's Chinese and American made. Most all of them that are made in China, in fact, I don't know of one that is certified NSF that's made in China. Now, what NSF stands for is, I want to begin with that. National Sanitation Foundation is a not-for-profit, which means they don't make a profit, right? And what they do is they take manufacturers' products like these, all of these, and they will put water running through them and running out of them, thousands of gallons of water, and they test them. And they test it to see how good they work. Now, in the world of water, not only do we want the water softener to take out the rock, we want to take out radium-228 and 226. Now, why is that? Believe it or not, a huge portion of America's water comes from the ground, or maybe lakes like Lake Michigan. This water supply has radium-228 and 226 in it. Yes, it's a form of that same radium that's called radon, which you might test your house for, radon gas. When the radon gas comes up through the basement, through the earth, and it hits the basement of the house, it finds a crack in the foundation, and it turns into a gas form. Radium-228 and 226 is in liquid form. It attaches itself to the water droplet. So what makes NSF-44 so great is that a product that has gone through that was thousands of gallons of water were ran at it with rock and with radium, or a surrogate of radium, and then it was shown to take it out. Now, why is this important? Let me tell you why. Because I bought all these other ones. The sticker companies, you can see even we put one on a sticker, because every now and then we'll have a client that wants a sticker product. So here's a clack valve with a regular tank that we bought it from a distributor, and they threw some Chinese resin in it. And they really don't care much about it, right? They just want something to last for a year or two, maybe 5 years, right? You might get 5 years out of it, the filter material in there. This, not only is it golden in color, right? It's the most valuable part of the water softener. Why is that? Because that resin, if it's made in America or Canada, it lasts long. It has an NSF-44 certification. It means that this sucker is going to last a long time. Conversely, when I look at a Chinese unit, maybe one of these back here, this is a fleck valve screwed onto a box or onto a water softener, and it was assembled by a distributor. Now, it's used Chinese resin, so now you have to sit there and say to yourself, how long is it going to last? And what our experience has been is they last about 4 or 5 years. So that's why we want to walk you through some of these major components of why NSF-44 is so important. Manufacturers do have to pay over $100,000 to prove that their unit's going to work. So as you can imagine, Chuck in the Truck or some sticker company is not going to pay that kind of money. Now, let's get started. The big box sticker companies and professional grade, so you can start to decide which units you want. Now, if you walk into a store, you're going to probably see whether it's Menards, Home Depot, or Lowe's, you're going to see either GE or you're going to see a Morton's unit. Now, Morton's and then also Water Boss. So those 3 manufacturers are pretty big manufacturers. They make these little bitty guys here in the GE unit back there, and most of them are made in China. Now, if you look at them, they'll say NSF certified on it. What they mean is it's NSF 61 certified. Anytime plumbing equipment in your home touches water, the plumbing equipment has to have what's called NSF 61 certification. So just because it says NSF certified on the box, buyer beware. It should say NSF 44 certified. That means that that resin is going to last a long time. No. In fact, the G unit used to be made in America, and some people will tell me, oh, I had a G unit, it lasted a long time. And it was like, and I said to them, yeah, when I started in this industry, guess what? I found them lasting 20 years. But back then, they were made in America. Back then, they were NSF 44 certified. Today, they're made in China from a new Chinese company, so they're not. They don't have the quality that they once had. Water Boss doesn't have the quality at all. By the way, look at the size of that. We're going to talk about water pressure here. Whenever we shrink down a system, guess what happens? We shrink down the volume of water that can go through the unit. So as a result, we get lower water pressure. Now, that's not a big deal if you're sitting home alone and you have a small house and you're retired by yourself. That might not be a problem for you. But if you have a family of 4 or a family of 6, it's a big problem, right? So that's why it's important for you to decide. I mean, a husband and wife, we've seen problems with these units. But if you're a single person living in a condo, that one of those units might actually work for you. Now, we don't have a Morton's unit out right now, but Morton does have a newer unit that's on the market that actually does have some quality to it. They are a little bit more expensive, and we've seen them last about 4 or 5 years. By the way, Morton's they do have one product. Let me take it back. They do have, I think, 1 or 2 products that are NSF 44 certified. So again, it might be a great product for a single person or 2 people in a home on relatively soft water. But the minute that you get it over 5 grains hard and you start having dishwashers, laundry machines going, and 2 people taking a shower, you might want to step up in quality. But if water pressure is not a problem, maybe that Water Boss would be of use to you. Next, we're going to get into the sticker company. So we talked about 3 manufacturers there under the big box. Again, I'll give you some rough pricing, $700, $800. You usually have to hire a licensed plumber. It's going to run you about $1,000. But guess what? No plumbers really know how to program those. That's where a professional comes in and they can help you. They test the water to see how many grains per gallon, that's rocks. I like to use an analogy that if I had a gallon of water here and I was measuring it in grains per gallon, I would count, and let's say the average person of Chicagoland, it's 8 grains per gallon. That's like 8 little pebbles in a gallon of water. Now that might not sound a lot, but I guarantee you, like that Yeva Berkowitz found out, it affects everything in the home. It makes you use more soap. It makes you use more conditioner. So that's something to keep in mind as we talk about grains per gallon. Now, the middle here, you're going to see some sticker products. This is going to be like a Clack water softener. Clack is, the valves are made in Windsor, Wisconsin, and then tanks might be made by Pentair or by Clack themselves. But what you want to check out for, does it have American-made resin in there? NSF 44 certified. If you do, that sticker product might be pretty good. Now, most of them don't. You know, when we take a look at this guy back here, an Autotrol, or we have a Fleck water softener back here, I don't know if you can see that guy. That's a little Fleck 5600 valve. So these are now made in China. And then what you have is distributors who are selling Chuck in the Truck or a guy, small water treatment company, and they're saying they're buying water softeners from these distributors. And all they do is they screw this valve on top of this tank. In fact, I have a tank right here for you. This is a good example for you. If you can see, it's a brand new tank here. And a lot of guys want to make it look like they're really worthwhile. So when they're out there selling a water softener, they're like, check this thing out. And what they do is they take a control valve, a distributor, and they put it on a vessel, and they put a distributor in there, and then they'll even put a stainless steel jacket on there to make it look pretty, make it look like it's really worth a lot of money, right? Well, guess what? It's just a little jacket. There's a fiberglass tank underneath it. So the stainless steel jacket, by the way, that's a really nice one. Sometimes they're just plastic, and they're wrapped with stainless steel sticker. But that's a good example about how a water softener made by a distributor or assembled by a distributor, got to remember there's a big difference between a manufacturer and an assembler, because an assembler simply puts these components, 3, 4 components together, and they pour resin in it. They screw a valve, and they sell it to a water treatment company, and then we sell it to you. Now, you have to ask yourself, is that what you want? Because we had a lot of different people's hands in there. Now, you can trust some companies, but you got to do that research, right? You got to uncover that and find out more about it. Don't just take someone's word for it. That's why I love NSF 44 certified products, because you can actually get the certification and say, aha, this thing's going to last longer. That said, you can see that it's just simply a tank, a valve that gets screwed on a tank, and then they pour resin in it. So those sticker companies mean that anyone can throw their sticker on it, right? In fact, it's interesting today. There's a company called Canature. They make a water softener called Genesis. Now, the manufacturer is called Canature, and in America it's called Genesis. Canature ships all their valves, all their tanks, all their resin into America, and in America they assemble it. And then they put a sticker on it, and they say, assembled in the United States. Culligan does this. Culligan has their products. You can see we got a Culligan back here. The tank, the valve, and the filter material is made in China. But they bring it in America, and they said, designed and assembled in America. Now, the factory used to be right here in Northbrook, Illinois. But when they got sold several times, guess what those big raiders did? They sold off the factory, and they moved everything to China. Now, some Chinese products might be okay. I'm just not a fan of it, because I can tell you that as I've sold Chinese products, I've had more complaints. We've had water pressure problems, we've had the product failing early, and we've even had floods. And here's a story for you to understand about the flood. Like, we sell one of these products, and guess what happened? It flooded someone's home. Now, they sued, their insurance sued us. My insurance said, oh, well, we'll have to pay for it. I said, whoa, 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 the manufacturer should pay for it. They're in China. Like, I want you to go for them. It's not me. That valve cracked. That has nothing to do with us. And guess what? The Chinese manufacturer was just like, well, we're not doing anything. We're here in China. You can't come get us. So it went all the way to the court system, and I stood in front of a judge, and guess what happened? The judge looked at me and asked me a simple question. Mr. Wilson, did you know that was made in China? And I said, yeah. He goes, well, you should be a smart enough businessman to understand that this company, this insurance company that paid for that claim, $50,000, cannot sue China. So you knew it was made in America or made in China, so you're at fault. You should know that. So your insurance should pay for that. And I was like, oh my God. So guess what? Our insurance had to pay for that flood. From that point forward, I like to be upfront with every customer. Listen, the water equipment all carries water. Water can flood the home and cause thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damage. So if you're worried about that, if you want to be able to have a product that's licensed and bonded and insured, and it needs to basically be made in America. So I think that that's a valuable reason to take a look at some of the professional grade companies, because the professional grade companies have that kind of assurance, because most of the time they're made in America. Now, of the 4 professional grade, I'm going to go through those. One is Culligan, one is Rainsoft, another is Kinetico, and the last one is EcoWater. Now, what I've learned over the years is that 2 are basically made in America, EcoWater and Kinetico. I'm not that well versed with Kinetico. We do have a token Kinetico unit here, but what we've noticed in the years that we've been doing this is we found that we love, oh, by the way, there's another manufacturer called Chandler. Chandler is also made in America. They're out of Ohio. So there's a few manufacturers still made making their products in America, and we'll just briefly go through those. First off, Culligan. Again, manufacturing in China, products are brought here, and they're assembled in America, just like a sticker company. Now, they're a very well-run organization. They've really turned things around in the past few years. Now, the products, obviously, I don't sell it on a regular basis, so it's not something that I prefer. But if I'm talking with clients on the phone from, I don't know, Nevada or California, I'll explain to them, I like any one of those 4 companies. And here's why. Because the manufacturers put a lot of effort into those products. A lot of manufacturers put a lot of time into it, and there's usually great training to the dealers who become a franchisee of them. Not always. I've seen some Rainsoft dealers that are liars and steal, and Culligan dealers that are crazy and they're misleading at, I'm saying it nicely when I say that they're misleading. But in general cases, I can say that these are the 4 major manufacturers. Now, out of those 4, the one I've liked most, or 5 if you include Chandler, is I like Chandler and I like EcoWater. Connecticut is still a great product. I think I have some friends that are dealers of Connecticut, and they've had good success there. Culligan, again, pretty good. And Rainsoft is pretty good. Now, they're all going to be pretty expensive, though. Now, of those, the one thing that I did notice is that you have to double-check their warranty. Some companies offer a 10-year directly to the consumer warranty, to you, the consumer. That's worthwhile. Now, a company like mine, Angel Water, we've been around for 50 years. 50 years, and I've owned it for 25 years. We give a 10-year warranty on all of our products. We know that when we use American-made resin, an American-made valve, an American-made vessel, that's going to last a long time. So our company gives what's called an irresistible warranty, 10 by 10 by 10. That means the control valve has a 10-year warranty, all the major components, the vessel has a 10-year warranty, and the resin has a 10-year warranty. That way, that irresistible guarantee tells you, the consumer, that, listen, we're going to back this. Now, your job when you're buying a water softener, if you're in Texas, is to check to make sure what kind of warranty you're going to get. And you want to ask for the details, because guess what? This vessel right here has a 10-year warranty. It has a 10-year warranty, but that's just a vessel, not the control valve, not the filter material. That doesn't have a 10-year warranty. You want to be able to make sure that everything has a 10-year warranty, the control valve, the tank, and the filter material. Now, most companies don't give you anything as far as a filter material warranty. Why? Again, they sold it cheap. The Chinese resin doesn't last very long. So it's really, really important that you understand that this resin is so very important. I'm going to bring this really close to you so you can see all that golden color. That is truly a great filter material and is the crux or the main goal of that water softener. Now, you can see here I also have my favorite stuffed animal. Some ask me, do I sleep with it at night? No, I don't, but it is cute. And what it is it gives you a good idea of how much I love water. Someone got that for me, and I just love it. But when we talk about these professional grade units that we've just mentioned, you can see we have Connecticut, there's a Chandler unit there, another Chandler unit. We got EcoWater here. EcoWater is actually also sold through Costco. Great backing. Costco backs almost everything. We do partner with Costco and EcoWater. Love the product. The product also has what's very unique is upflow brine. So this upflow brine and exact salt dosing means that it uses the least amount of salt in the industry. This and the Connecticut are the 2 that are rated to use the least amount of salt in the industry. Now, there might be some other studies out there that I'm not aware of, but in general cases, that's what we've typically seen. Connecticut, because they separate 2 resin tanks like this, and they fill them half with resin. And so one is in operation, and the other one's not in operation. So when this one gets exhausted, they move to this. That's how they achieve a slightly better salt or less salt usage. The thing is it doesn't rinse itself very well. So people still complain about salty tasting water. Also, if you notice, they shrunk the size of the tank on there. So this is considered like a 48,000 grain water softener, but it's 2 small little tanks compared to EcoWater, who has a very large one big vessel that allows the filter to go through, or the water to go through. So this we've seen restrict water pressure where the larger one doesn't. But still, I have to say, Connecticut does get a high favored rating from me, and I don't sell the product. We do service it, but we don't sell it on a regular basis. Rainsoft gets a high mention from me as well, does a pretty good job, as well as Culligan does a pretty good job, but I do love the Chandler, I love the EcoWater products as far as where I know that we can put our name on it and that we can be certain that the unit is going to last 10 years or more. By the way, we've had an eco water unit that we had in someone's house for 25 years, and it's still doing an amazing job. And I mean, they had a family of 4, then it dropped to a family of 2 as the kids moved out. And we were still rather amazed with how long that product lasted. Their higher end products, the ECR and the ERR, they have what's called a dual rotor valve that makes it worthwhile. In any regard, what I hope today that you're able to understand is NSF 44 certification is very important for your family. Make sure you get it. It proves that the filter material, the unit, is going to last a long time. Second thing is it made in China or made in America? Third, we've learned there are big box products out there. If you have to pick a big box product, I think the Morton's unit might actually be a pretty decent unit. Check for their warranty, check for their certification. If you go to sticker companies, that's going to be Chuck in the Truck. You want to make sure that you trust them, make sure they're a licensed plumbing company, make sure that they know what they're doing before you invest it. That's going to last you a little bit longer than the big box product. Again, big box, we see them lasting 2 to 3 years. We see sticker products lasting maybe 5 years. Then we see some of the professional grade lasting 10 years. Again, check the warranty, check the certification, check where it's manufactured. Those are some of the key components that will help you find a water softener that will last you the longest. Again, I'm sorry it was long-winded. I could spend even more time on this because it's a big subject, because as you can see, there's a variety of products out there. I want to make sure it's clear. I get lots of emails from everybody. One, I want to thank you for your time to send me a response or send me an email. You always are welcome to contact us at Angel Water or at angelwater.com. What I do want to say is people call me and they're like, what is this product, Eagle Water? Well, I'm sorry, it's Eco Water, E-C-O water, not Eagle Water. So I'm sorry if my Chicago accent gets you. It is one of the big 4 manufacturers. Second thing I got a lot of statements about, I want to make sure it's very clear. There is a ton of sticker companies out there. I mean, I get calls about Genesis and this company and that company, and what about all the online companies? And I want to make sure you know, most everything you see online is a guy out of his garage who put together a beautiful website and is selling it to you. What you really want to do is make sure you've tested the water, you size it correctly for the water quality that you have, and you look for the certifications and where it's made. Is it made in America or China? Those are some of the key factors. If it's not one of the big companies I've just mentioned there, most likely it's a sticker product. And then that's really up to you to do more research as to whether or not that will work for you. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Please press like, share the video if you liked it. As you know, my name is Drew, and my whole goal is to serve you.